on my end, I was ready to get married. I was doing the things that one should be doing to become a husband.
True.
But then my partner only noticed very later on when I had checked out of the relationship that actually this guy might actually be the one.
Sanmanan Dumelang, hello, Molwin, Kamalam Gulwazi, and Ndipetsu. So you already know, I am still talking about Married at First Sight. Today is a special day because I'm going to be breaking down Tshepo's emotional and mental warfare tools and strategies. I have played a clip at the beginning of this video, and this clip was basically just speaking to the things that Tshepo had said when he was speaking to the experts regarding himself, regarding relationships, regarding the kind of life that he wants, the kind of husband he aspires to be, although he doesn't really give any details, but he does say he wants to be the example of a husband to his family. What I noticed is not so much what it is that Tshepo says, but it's what he doesn't say. I think that one of the things about Tshepo is in what he insinuates and in what he shows and his body language, because he knows a lot of the things that he believes and holds to are problematic and could get him in trouble, especially, on a global stage, a national stage. So what he does is he gives us clues and allows us to reach the conclusion that he desires. In his initial breakdown, when I was looking at all the men as, suitors and potential husbands, I had a hard time saying why I think the things that I think about him. I more than once mentioned that I was just coloring in, I was filling in based on the kind of person that he is coming across as. Today I'm doing a better job. Today I'm going to play some clips, and in these clips is going to be how I'm arriving to some of the conclusions that I'm arriving at. I think that he's been given enough time and enough rope for him to hang himself. Not literally, of course. I am going to start off with how he would casually throw in, I was going to take one of my girlfriends to Paris, didn't really work out. The fire, what's it called? The not a fire station. the fire thingamabob playing in his house to create just a cozy ambiance. He is very meticulous, he's very well put together. The way he speaks is well thought out. He uses all of this, including the things he has mentioned about his previous relationships. He said that he was doing all the right things to become a husband, but his ex did not recognize that he was a husband until it was too late and he had checked out of the relationship. I'm not going into any more details about this because it is in the video where I break down the men. But I do want to emphasize the fact that Tshepo has a certain standard that he holds himself to, and he seems to prefer women who are out of his league so that he has to prove to them that he's worthy to be in their presence, he is worthy to be their partner or husband. And I say this because it's a common theme in the stories that he tells about the women he's been with, that they wouldn't recognize what a good guy he is, or they wouldn't recognize that he was their soulmate until he had left. Why I say this is that he loves a challenge. And he loves a challenge because when he wins that person over, it is validating. It proves that he is worthy of love, and in many ways, it's part of the triumph, it's part of the hunt, whatever you want to call it. When he meets Upalesa, I said, Sispalesa is a beautiful woman, but I don't think Sispalesa is his type. Tshepo loves to live life large. He wants people to see him as grand. And so I would expect his partner to be a trophy wife. I even went as far as saying I don't think he's telling the truth when he says he wants a wife that is ambitious. However, he does want a wife that is intelligent. That is a must-have. You can have one without the other. And I think that with Ursus Palisa not being his type, he expects to be able to do a few things. He expects to either be able to marry a second wife who's actually going to be his type, or he expects her to be absolutely perfect and she has to take on the role that he has played in his previous relationships of proving that she is the best of the best. She's perfect and is worthy of being in his life. Interesting, right? I am okay with you disagreeing with me. I want you to let me know what it is that you think I'm getting wrong. Okay, so I'm going to start with the 4-step process to how Tshepo unleashes emotional and mental warfare in this relationship that we see with Ursus Palisa. Here are some of the things that happen, right? At the first encounter and encounters that they have, he needs Ursus Palisa to fall head over heels in love with him. Just because she's not his type doesn't mean he doesn't want her to be in love with him. If she's not in love with him, it means that she's not that guy. He needs to be him. So what he does is he pours attention. You'll notice that the eye contact that they share is very intense, but also very playful. He always has a smirk on his face, and he looks at her like, look at you, girl. And when he does that, what he wants to happen is for mirroring to take place. And mirroring is where when you're with someone and you guys are connecting, you begin to act in a similar way. You begin to have the same interests or tastes in music or whatever, right? But because he's in this position of being the adorer, he is giving her so many compliments. Oh, she exceeded my expectations, and she's a girl's girl. I want her to be in her soft era, and I'll be, your macho man. I'll take care of her. So good, isn't it? What he needs to happen is for her to think, wow, what a catch. I need this man in my life. And if all works out well, she will be so in love that she will tolerate anything that he does.
I'm surprised. I think I'm getting more than what I expected, aside for sore eyes, to be quite honest. I do have an upcoming school holiday trip with him. Maybe we could, make it a family trip.
That'll be nice. When do you think we can introduce them?
We could maybe take them somewhere for the weekend, because obviously we're going to have to create a blended family environment.
Yeah.
I want to actually task you with that. We've been able to facilitate and create an environment where we can have a blended family.
I am happy to mend this ship.
He is very much interested in living his best life, but he needs his wife to be someone who absolutely adores him. Cool. One of the things that he also uses to make sure that she falls in love, they start planning trips. They start talking about the kids. The kids are going to be so happy. We're going to turn our, is it a school term trip? We'll take both of them, we'll introduce them. She starts having pictures in her head. Wow, my son has been asking for a sibling. This is going to be great because now there's a free sibling that I don't have to give birth to. Picture perfect. I can see it already. Now, here's where things get interesting. Tshepo asks, hey, how do you feel about polygamy? This is not just a question. This is Tshepo priming Upalesa. This is why I say this. Number one, he needs to know what her boundaries are, and he needs to know how hard she's going to stick to these boundaries. So when he's asking her about polygamy, he's trying to gauge her reaction to something like polygamy, and he's trying to gauge her reaction to him not taking fidelity so serious in their currently monogamous relationship. Because in order to become polygamous, you're going to have to do some looking around, so fidelity is going to be a bit questionable. He's testing her reactivity. He needs to know if he has an explosive woman. He needs to know the extent of her wrath and her anger. If she does not like polygamy, she will not only talk about polygamy, she's going to talk about infidelity. And she's not only going to talk about infidelity, but she might bring up the things that she has done in the past in her reaction to infidelity in her previous relationships, if there has been any. So this is a very good question. That's like a litmus test just to see what's going on in her mind and in her heart. Now, the next part of asking about this is that he is preparing her mentally for what's to come. There is a trick used in marketing that is desensitizing people to a concept or to a product. When we first encounter something new, most of us reject it, most of us may see it as taboo, but the more you see it, the more you hear it, and the more you associate it with people that you trust, the more you see it as not only as acceptable, but maybe something that you would be okay with or something you'd indulge in. I want to make one example. Mimosas. Drinking in the morning used to be such a red flag in society. It used to mean that you're an alcoholic. It used to mean that maybe you aren't productive and you are reckless. Alcohol companies, restaurants, the likes, need us to drink more. So they found cool and acceptable ways to rebrand drinking in the morning so that we will do it more. What did they do? Introducing mimosas as champagne and orange juice, acceptable for the morning. You can have it for breakfast. You can have it at brunch. Get dressed, be sophisticated, be cute, and still do what we need you to do, which is drink more. So mimosas went from, yes, drinking in the morning to it's just mimosas, it's just brunch. And this is an example of priming. Tshepo has brought up polygamy to gauge how she reacts, and if she doesn't react so negatively, he will maybe bring it up again, or he will start putting little hints here and there all over the place just to change her perspective on it. And when her perspective on it changes, she'll be more open to what he really wants. And he really wants this thing. That I'm sure about. Okay.
I was made to feel like I'm not enough. I'm not handsome. I can't do well enough. And it was a lot. I think the moment somebody rejects me and they push me away, then I think we're done. I made a mistake, and for that mistake, I was rejected.
What mistake was that?
I'm sure we'll get into it.
Okay.
It was an honest mistake.
Did it compromise trust?
A compromised trust, a compromised honesty.
I see.
And my guilty part was feeling like I could have done better. It was tough, difficult, but...
Can you imagine?
Yeah, of marriage.
What scares you about marriage right now?
Is a person leaving?
Are you scared that I'm gonna leave?
It's the threats of leaving.
Okay.
The defense mechanism is when you say that you want to leave.
You buckle up.
Yes, I'm like, before you hurt me, I'm going to open the door for you. And I think it's just, it's a triggering thing that I've been carrying around for all these years.
I just entered, but now I'm suffering because of previous people.
Step 3, control the narrative. This is going to be something we see happen throughout the season. Tshepo uses hints, he insinuates things so that he always has plausible deniability. Plausible deniability means that you don't have proof, so you can't hold him accountable for a certain action or a certain stance. And if you can't hold him accountable, he's going to do it. And he's probably going to do it again and again. Now, another part of him having this control over the narrative is through your emotions and through the mental warfare. He weaponizes vulnerability. This starts very early in this relationship. Here's how. When Tshepo and Balesa don't agree on polygamy, Balesa takes time, she's processing, she's trying to figure out, what does this mean? Is this some sort of hint? And she's obviously not happy because her fairy tale is quickly becoming a nightmare. She gets withdrawn. So he sits her down and he says to her, are you worried that I am going to try and practice polygamy now or later? First of all, why are you turning this into a time issue without making it a time issue? Here's why I'm saying that. He's saying, don't worry, I love you. You're my one and only right now. Without him saying, just for now. If you hear me, then I'm glad that you hear me. The second part of him controlling the narrative is he says, you have been withdrawn and it is hurtful to me that you're being withdrawn because it reminds me of my trauma with my ex. My ex made me feel not good enough. Nothing I did was ever enough. And it makes me feel rejected. I don't want you to leave me. I don't want you to reject me. And you being distant is a form of that. What he just did here is he's planting seeds and parameters for how you are able to react to what's happening and how you are not able to react to what's happening. If you leave him because he has done something to you that you did not appreciate, nguwe orongo, because you are triggering him and playing on his traumas. The interesting thing is that when he behaves poorly, he will make sure that it cannot be proven. That's why he speaks in riddles and insinuates things so that you can never say, you absolutely did this. And he's going to also tell a lot of half-truths. In the conversation he has about his ex, he says, we had an incident. Balesa asks, what kind of incident? Tell me more about this. And he says, we'll talk about it later. And this is going to be him playing on the whole emotional vulnerability, emotional maturity thing, because he's going to say, I'm not ready to talk about it right now. We'll talk about it later. But it really impacted me negatively. She asks a good question. She says, did it compromise trust? And he says, yes. But speaks here, there, and everywhere else and never goes back to the story. He never takes accountability because he says it was an honest mistake. How do you compromise trust through an honest mistake? We all know the kinds of things that compromise trust. Very rarely are you able to do these things from an innocent, I didn't realize I was compromising trust. point of view. Are you hearing me? Anyway, we never get back into that story. That half-truth is probably something that Usis Balesa, because she's a very intelligent woman, she probably has it at the back of her mind because I need to watch out for this. Whatever that was, it's kind of sounding very shaky. Step 4. Step 4 is flip the script. If you are caught slipping and there is evidence of your foolery, flip the script. Make it about them. Take the attention away from your portion so that you still don't have to be held accountable.
In the car, I get a call from a lady I work with. Yeah? Her name pops up on the screen in the car. I can't hear this person on the phone through the car. Because through the car. I decided to grab the phone, take it off Bluetooth. Hi. Can't hear anything. So I put down the phone.
That's suspicious.
She's like, yo, who's that? I'm like, no, this is a colleague. It became a woman thing. Why is another woman calling at this time of the morning?
A colleague.
Colleague.
If she is a colleague.
No, she is a colleague.
Okay.
I get to work. I feel like I was spanning. Get a message. I called your workplace. How am I so spananda?
Oh.
Then she's like, no, prove to me this person is not a colleague. I'm like, I'm not do that. She deleted my number for phone. She blocked.
That's deep.
The fact now you want to be FBI now, you want to be CIA, you want to go undercover, be calling around, asking questions, you're pretending to be a customer just to kind of solicitate information. It's sneaky, it's conniving, and it's very malicious.
She's having insecurities.
Yes.
And when I instead of replying and comforting those insecurities without having, no,
I get to be able to comfort your insecurities.
Because I never want to do anything that's going to trigger you. And I also wouldn't like for you to do things that are going to trigger me.
For me, it feels like the accusation was made. It's still there.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel very aggrieved by it. Because even now, I'm still not understanding whether you think I did, whether you think I didn't. And if I didn't, I'm not hearing like an apology from you.
Why do I say this? There are two things that we are going to see Tshepo doing when he is caught in a tricky situation. He will deflect and he will start victim blaming. In the situation that happens with them, they're in the car one morning and a woman calls. He says, that's my colleague. Balesa says the body language was questionable. The whole thing was fishy. So she called his work, found out that no such person works where he works. He is livid. He calls HR, and indeed, someone did inquire about that person. He now says she is insecure, she is vile, who knows what she's capable of. This is horrible. She has an insecurity as a wife that she is making my responsibility. Pause. The last time he was insecure was when she was emotionally detaching from him because she didn't trust him or she didn't understand what was happening in their dynamics. And he said her detaching was playing on her trauma. It's an insecurity that he has. And he was basically asking her to be mindful. Fast forward, something is happening and he's not happy about it. And he says, I'm not responsible for your insecurities. If this is a trigger, if infidelity or dishonesty is a trigger for you, that's a you problem. Figure it out. And calling women insecure is such a classic player move because it means I'm not going to take your concerns seriously because you're not a sane person. You are exaggerating everything that you see. You are going around looking for problems where there are none. I have not done anything. You are acting in bad faith. However, this is not the truth in this scenario because indeed that woman doesn't work where he works, so he lied. Why did you lie? if you did not do anything suspicious with this woman, if the relationship you have with her is normal, why did you lie about her? Where were you last night, Tshepo? Because that also came into question. He came home very late, and this is why Upalesa was double checking. He came home late yesterday to this morning. A suspicious woman is calling him, and he's saying it's a colleague. Is it a colleague? It's not a colleague. But we will never go back to the point that she's not a colleague, because he will deflect, and he will flip the script, and he will start blaming the victim. Did you see what I said? All right. So the thing that happens, though, when she has made this move of gathering evidence against him, he takes this as actual warfare. It means the spell is broken. You're no longer going to be in a position to adore him and think that he's the best thing under the sun, which means you're not of any use anymore. If you're not his type and you're not adoring and validating him, why are you here, right? So what he's going to try to do is exit the relationship, but he needs to exit the relationship with you looking like Nguworongo and not him, because now that impacts his self-image, and it also impacts the way his potential suitors see him. It impacts the way people view him. And we have seen from the first thing I said that it is very important how people see Tshepo, to himself anyway.
And you tell him what to say and what not to say. Is that true? Are you telling Tshepo?
No, I'm not telling Tshepo what to do. I discuss with him. I discuss with him, how do you think we should go about this? It's not about curating anything.
You mentioned texts that she sends. Show me these texts.
Text was saying, she was asking me why did I unfollow her as a follower on Instagram? Why did I remove her? Why am I throwing her under the bus? That we spoke about this. Why did I not tell her that I feel like I checked out what's happening? I maybe called a lot of things, but to walk out of our marital home is something that I've never contemplated. It is what it is right now. I don't want to say that I'm angry. I'm disappointed, obviously.
But Lisa,
Yeah.
you didn't sleep at home and you are back. Where did you go?
I went to my place and I used his card to Uber. I've literally got nothing to hide. I went to bed, I spoke to my pastor, and I slept. I only left my place this morning when I was coming back here.
I don't know between that time and this morning where she was, and that is facts.
Right. So what he does next is he attacks her character. He said, I don't even know where she was between the time she arrived at her place and the time she came back here in the morning, despite everything she did do to make sure that he would know that she's not doing anything suspicious. She just went home. She just needed time out. Not that that's okay. If you're a married person and you keep running home, no one knows where you are, or we know where you are, but you're not here, you've walked out. Obviously, that's not acceptable behavior. But Oksalayo, he now says, I don't trust her. She's not trustworthy. I don't know where she was. She could have taken my card, Ubered there, and when she arrived there, could have walked out, gone somewhere, somehow, did this and that. The fact that that's even in your head means that's the kind of thing you would do. I'm just going to put that out there. The more suspicious you are of people, it tends to be because you yourself, you know what you're capable of. But I'm not saying he's done that. I'm just saying it's suspicious that that would be where his mind goes to. Now, the next thing he says is that Palesa is trying to control their narrative. She's trying to curate their storyline. She tries to tell him what they can and can't speak about. This is obviously a really big deal because in a reality show, one of the things they face regularly is people saying that either they're editing things to make certain people look bad, or it's scripted, it's not real. This show is real, but the people in the show are aware of the cameras and are aware of the reach. So everyone does act to try to protect their image. Across the board with all of them, you can see moments where this is definitely a bit of self-preservation. Now, when he does this, he's calling her a liar, or he's saying she's not trustworthy, and he gets to be set free or off the hook because what we are seeing can't be trusted. It's being positioned in a certain way to paint him badly or to protect the relationship or to protect her own image. She's not who you think she is. Very good, Tshepo, very good. So, I wanted to discuss how a number of these different steps and these different tools show up in the situation where he has been exposed for calling Makoto a unacceptable word.
So this whole conversation started at the Luvalos. I was leaving the apartment, right? And I remember making my statement saying that Snoop Dogg once said that you cannot turn a, and then I left a blank, into a housewife.
Mm-hmm.
So I want them to tell me, what word did I say? Because I know...
You say it's us that said...
I know that statement emanated from your house.
He might be saying he's making it from a song, but indirectly we are saying that, figuratively, Makoto would be the subject in Snoopy's song.
Disclaimer. I think it's being misunderstood that he doesn't call her that word because he thinks she's promiscuous, per se. But the context of what he's saying is that she doesn't behave like a wife. And I think we've all seen her being extremely disrespectful and rude. And she has not been patient. She has not been kind in her marriage. So I think that she has a few things that she needs to work on in terms of her relationship and nurturing it and being a better wife. That still doesn't allow him to say derogatory terms, though, and disrespect her. What he will do to wiggle out of this situation is to use plausible deniability, because when they question him, he says, it's a song. I was quoting a song. I didn't say that. And he will say, I didn't even say who I was talking about. I didn't say Makoto is a bleep. So now it's getting harder and harder to hold him accountable for the disrespect that he very clearly was giving out. The next thing is it will cause confusion. He causes confusion by it not being easy to pinpoint when he said this, to whom he said it, the exact words he said. And he will have everyone so busy trying to pinpoint what it is that was said, when it was said, to whom it was said, who did you tell when you heard this, who didn't you tell. All of this causes him to take a back seat and to no longer be at the center of this, even though he started it. And he did, in fact, do it. And he knows exactly what he meant. And he knows why he quoted, etc., etc. By the end of the dinner or drinks where Makoto, Goluleko, Palesa, and Tshepo are sitting down to talk about this issue and resolve it, he maybe spoke for the first 5 minutes. The rest of the time, Nkululeko and Makoto are the ones fighting. Why? Why are you fighting amongst yourselves and no longer talking about the person who started this and why they did it and what their intentions are? Because he's that good. He's just that good. And in case he's going to watch this, allegedly did these things and allegedly playing everybody with emotional and mental warfare. Yeah? All right. Protect yourselves out there, guys. Bye.